All right, we are coming up on 8 o'clock. So, let's settle in. Let's get comfortable. And let's see what tonight has in store for us. with our continued reading of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. Welcome back. This is our fourth night reading from this fantastic collection of poetry by a paragon of American poetry. Yeah, so far, we have not missed yet. It's been hope, optimism, general good vibes, sex positivity, and just openness to the fact that love is love. And really, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And we'll continue to be here for it as we roll through the remainder of this fantastic collection, of which there's quite a lot left, actually. We're just shy of 30% through, so we've got quite a lot left. Sorry. It just took a little bit. There it is. I don't know why it didn't like the first one. It may have just been the fact that I was still sliding in. It like clears whenever I change scenes. Hello, Simba. Yes. Good boy. All right. So, with that preamble out of the way, let's go ahead and get back into our reading. Because as I alluded to, there's a lot. There's a lot left. So, let's shift into our reading nook, and we'll see what we have in store for us tonight. All right. We ended up last time at the end of one of the books, which makes a very good place to shift gears. Okay, please just go away to the bottom. There we go. So, we're starting up tonight with Book 7, Song of the Open Road. Afoot and light-hearted, I take to the open road, healthy, free, the world before me. The long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose. Henceforth I ask not good fortune. I myself am good fortune. Henceforth I whimper no more, postpone no more, need nothing. Done with indoor complaints, libraries, querulous criticisms, strong and content I travel the open road. The earth, that is sufficient. I do not want the constellations any nearer. I know they're very well where they are. I know they suffice for those who belong to them. Still, here I carry my old delicious burdens. I carry them, men and women. I carry them with me wherever I go. I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them. I'm filled with them, and I will fill them in return. You, road I enter upon, and look around. I believe you are not all that is here. I believe that much unseen is also here. Here, the profound lesson of reception, nor preference, nor denial, the black with his woolly head, the felon, the diseased, the illiterate person are not denied. The birth, the hasting after the physician, the beggar's tramp, the drunkard's stagger, the laughing party of mechanics, the escaped youth, the rich person's carriage, the fop, the eloping couple, the early market man, the hearse, the moving of furniture into the town, the return back from the town. They pass. I also pass. Anything passes. None can be interdicted. None but are accepted. None but shall be dear to me. You, air that serves me with breath to speak. You objects that call from diffusion my meanings and give them shape. You light that wraps me and all things in delicate equable showers. You paths worn in the irregular hollows by the roadsides. I believe you are latent, with unseen existences. You are so dear to me. You flagged walks of the cities, you strong curbs at the edges, you ferries, you planks and posts of wharves, you timber-lined side, you distant ships. You row of houses, you window-pierced facades, you roofs. You porches and entrances, you copings and iron guards, you windows whose transparent shells might expose so much. You doors and ascending steps, you arches, you grey stones of interminable pavements, you trodden crossings. From all that has touched you, I believe you have imparted to yourselves, and now would impart the same secretly to me. From the living and the dead, you have peopled your impassive surfaces, and the spirits thereof would be evident and amicable with me. The earth expanding, right hand and left hand, the picture alive, every part in its best light, the music falling in where it is wanted and stopping where it is not wanted. The cheerful voice of the public road, the gay, fresh sentiment of the road. O highway I travel, do you say to me, do not leave me? Do you say, venture not, if you leave me you are lost? Do you say I am already prepared, I am well beaten and undenied, adhere to me? O public road, I say back, I am not afraid to leave you. Yet I love you. You express me better than I can express myself. You shall be more to me than my poem. I think heroic deeds were all conceived in the open air, and all free poems also. I think I could stop here myself and do miracles. I think whatever I shall meet on the road I shall like, and whoever beholds me shall like me. I think whoever I see must be happy. From this hour I ordain myself loosed of limits and imaginary lines, going where I list, my own master, total and absolute, listening to others, considering well what they say. Pausing, searching, receiving, contemplating, gently but with undeniable will, divesting myself of the holds that would hold me. I inhale great draughts of space. The east and the west are mine, and the north and the south are mine. I am larger, better than I thought. I did not know I held so much goodness. All seems beautiful to me. Can repeat over to men and women, you have done so much good to me. I would do the same to you. I will recruit for myself and you as I go. I will scatter myself among men and women as I go. I will toss a new gladness and roughness among them. Whoever denies me, it shall not trouble me. Whoever accepts me, he or she shall be blessed and shall bless me. Now, if 1,000 perfect men were to appear, it would not amaze me. Now, if 1,000 beautiful forms of women appeared, it would not astonish me. Now I see the secret of the making of the best persons. It is to grow in the open air and to eat and sleep with the earth. Here, a great personal deed has room. Such a deed seizes upon the hearts of the whole race of men. Its effusion of strength and will overwhelms law and mocks all authority and all argument against it. Here is the test of wisdom. Wisdom is not finally tested in schools. Wisdom cannot be passed from one having it to another not having it. Wisdom is of the soul. It is not susceptible to proof, is its own proof, applies to all stages and objects and qualities, and is content. It is the certainty of the reality and immortality of things, and the excellence of things. Something there is in the float of the sight of things that provokes it out of the soul. Now I re-examine philosophies and religions. They may prove well in lecture rooms, yet not prove at all under the spacious clouds and along the landscape and flowing currents. Here is realization. Here is a man tallied. He realizes here what he has in him. The past, future, majesty, love. If they are vacant of you, you are vacant of them. Only the kernel of every object nourishes. Where is he who tears off the husks for you and me? Where is he that undoes stratagems and envelopes and envelopes for you and me? Here is adhesiveness. It is not previously fashioned, it is apropos. Do you know what it is as you pass to be loved by strangers? Do you know the talk of those turning eyeballs? Here is the efflux of the soul. The efflux of the soul comes from within through embowered gates, ever-provoking questions. These yearnings, why are they? These thoughts in the darkness, why are they? Why are there men and women that while they are nigh me, the sunlight expands my blood? Why, when they leave me, do my pennants of joy sink flat and lank? Why are there trees I never walk under, but large and melodious thoughts descend upon me? I think they hang their winter and summer on those trees, and always drop fruit as I pass. What is it I interchange so suddenly with strangers? What with some driver as I ride on the seat by his side? What with some fisherman drawing his seine by the shore as I walk by and pause? What gives me to be free to a woman's and man's goodwill? What gives them to be free to mine? The efflux of the soul is happiness. Here is happiness. I think it pervades the open air, waiting at all times. Now it flows unto us. We are rightly charged. Here rises the fluid, and attaching character. The fluid and attaching character is the freshness and sweetness of man and woman. The herbs of the morning sprout no fresher and sweeter every day out of the roots of themselves than it sprouts fresh and sweet continually out of itself. Toward the fluid and attaching character exudes the sweat of the love of young and old. From it falls distilled the charm that mocks beauty and attainments. Toward it heaves the shuddering, longing ache of contact. Hello, whoever you are, come travel with me. Traveling with me, you find that never tires. The earth never tires. The earth is rude, silent, incomprehensible at first. Nature is rude and incomprehensible at first. Be not discouraged. Keep on. There are divine things well enveloped. I swear to you, there are divine things more beautiful than words can tell. Allons, we must not stop here. However sweet these laid-up stores, however convenient this dwelling, we cannot remain here. However sheltered this port, and however calm these waters, we must not anchor here. However welcome the hospitality that surrounds us, we are permitted to receive it but a little while. Allons, the inducements shall be greater. We will sail pathless in wild seas. We will go where winds blow, waves dash, and the Yankee clipper speeds by under full sail. Allons, with power, liberty, the earth, the elements, health, defiance, gaiety, self-esteem, curiosity, allons, from all formulas. From your formulas, O bad-eyed and materialistic priests, the stale cadaver blocks up the passage. The burial waits no longer. Allons, yet take warning. He traveling with me needs the best blood, thews, endurance. None may come to the trial till he or she bring courage and health. Come not here if you have already spent the best of yourself. Only those may come who come in sweet and determined bodies. No diseased person, no rum drinker or venereal taint is permitted here. I and mine do not convince by arguments, smiles, rhymes. We convince by our presence. Listen, I will be honest with you. I do not offer the old smooth prizes, but offer rough, new prizes. These are the days that must happen to you. You shall not heap up what is called riches. You shall scatter with lavish hand all that you earn or achieve. You but arrive at the city to which you were destined. You hardly settle yourself to satisfaction before you are called by an irresistible call to depart. You shall be treated to the ironical smiles and mockings of those who remain behind you. What beckonings of love you receive, you shall only answer with passionate kisses of parting. You shall not allow the hold of those who spread their reached hands toward you. Hello! After the great companions, and to belong to them. They, too, are on the road. They are the swift and majestic men. They are the greatest women. Enjoyers of calms of seas and storms of seas, sailors of many a ship, walkers of many a mile of land, habitues of many distant countries, habitues of far distant dwellings, trusters of men and women, observers of cities, solitary toilers, pausers and contemplators of tufts, blossoms, shells of the shore, dancers at wedding dances, kissers of brides, tender helpers of children, bearers of children, soldiers of revolts, standers by gaping graves, lowerers down of coffins, journeyers over consecutive seasons, over the years, the curious years, and each emerging from that which preceded it. Journeyers, as with companions, namely their own diverse phases, forth steppers from the latent unrealized baby days, journeyers gaily with their own youth, journeyers with their bearded and well-grained manhood, journeyers with their womanhood, ample, unsurpassed content, journeyers with their own sublime old age of manhood or womanhood, old age, calm, expanded, broad with the haughty breadth of the universe, old age, flowing free with the delicious nearby freedom of death. And all, to that which is endless as it was beginningless, to undergo much tramps of days, rests of nights, to merge all in the travel they tend to, in the days and nights they tend to, again to merge them in the start of superior journeys, to see nothing anywhere but what you may reach it and pass it, to conceive no time, however distant, but what you may reach it and pass it, to look up or down no road but it stretches and waits for you, however long, but it stretches and waits for you. To see no being, not gods or any, but you also go thither. To see no possession, but you may possess it. Enjoying all without labor or purchase, abstracting the feast, yet not abstracting one particle of it. To take the best of the farmer's farm, and the rich man's elegant villa, and the chaste blessings of the well-married couple, and the fruits of orchards and growers and flowers of gardens. To take to your use out of the compact cities as you pass through, to carry buildings and streets with you afterward wherever you go. To gather the winds of men out of their brains as you encounter them, to gather the love out of their hearts, to take your lovers on the road with you, for all that you leave them behind you, to know the universe itself as a road, as many roads, as roads for traveling souls, all parts away for the progress of souls, all religion, all solid things, arts, governments, all that was or is apparent, upon this globe or any globe, falls into niches and corners before the procession of souls along the grand roads of the universe. Of the progress of the souls of men and women along the grand roads of the universe, all other progress is the needed emblem and sustenance. Forever alive, forever forward, stately, solemn, sad, withdrawn, baffled, mad, turbulent, feeble, dissatisfied, desperate, proud, fond, sick, accepted by men, rejected by men. They go. They go. I know that they go, but I know not where they go. But I know that they go toward the best, toward something great. Whoever you are, come forth. Or man or woman, come forth. You must not stay sleeping and dallying there in the house, though you built it, or though it has been built for you. Out of the dark confinement, out from behind the screen, it is useless to protest. I know all, and expose it. Behold through you as bad as the rest. Through the laughter, dancing, dining, supping of people, inside of dresses and ornaments, inside of those washed and trimmed faces, behold a secret, silent, loathing, and despair. No husband, no wife, no friend trusted to hear the confession, another self, a duplicate of every one. Skulking and hiding it goes, formless and wordless through the streets of the cities, polite and bland in the parlors. In the cars of railroads, in steamboats, in the public assembly, home to the houses of men and women. At the table, in the bedroom, everywhere. Smartly attired, countenance smiling, form upright, death under the breastbones, hell under the skullbones. Under the broadcloth and gloves, under the ribbons and artificial flowers, keeping fair with the customs, speaking not a syllable of itself. Speaking of anything else, but never of itself at all, through struggles and wars. The goal that was named cannot be countermanded. Have the past struggles succeeded? What has succeeded? Yourself? Your nature? Nature? Now understand me well. It is provided in the essence of things that from any fruition of success, no matter what, shall come forth something to make a greater struggle necessary. My call is the call of battle. I nourish active rebellion. He going with me must go well armed. He going with me goes often with spare diet, poverty, angry enemies, desertions. Allons, the road is before us. It is safe. I have tried it. My own feet have tried it well. Be not detained. Let the paper remain on the desk unwritten, and the book on the shelf unopened. Let the tools remain in the workshop. Let the money remain unearned. Let the school stand. Mind not the cry of the teacher. Let the preacher preach in his pulpit. Let the lawyer plead in the court, and the judge expound the law. Camarado, I give you my hand. I give you my love, more precious than money. I give you myself before preaching or law. Will you give me yourself? Will you come travel with me? Shall we stick by each other as long as we live? All right, that brings us to the end of Book 7, Song of the Road. Hey, Neff, thanks for the lurk. All right, let's continue now. As I grab another tissue so that I don't have to step away. All right, coming up we have Book 8, Crossing Brooklyn Ferry. Flood tide below me, I see you face to face. Clouds of the west sun there half an hour high, I see you also face to face, crowds of men and women attired in the usual costumes. How curious you are to me. On the ferry boats, the hundreds and hundreds that cross, returning home, are more curious to me than you suppose. And you that shall cross from shore to shore years hence are more to me and more in my meditations than you might suppose. The impalpable sustenance of me from all things at all hours of the day, the simple, compact, well-joined scheme, myself disintegrated, every one disintegrated, yet part of the scheme. The similitudes of the past and those of the future, the glories strung like beads on my smallest sights and hearings, on the walk in the street, and the passage over the river. The current rushing so swiftly and swimming with me far away, the others that are to follow me, the ties between me and them, the certainty of others, the life, love, sight, hearing of others. Others will enter the gates of the ferry and cross from shore to shore. Others will watch the run of the flood tide. Others will see the shipping of Manhattan, north and west, and the heights of Brooklyn to the south and east. Others will see the islands, large and small. 50 years hence, others will see them as they cross the sun half an hour high. 100 years hence, or ever so many 100 years hence, others will see them, will enjoy the sunset, the pouring in of the flood tide, the falling back to the sea of the ebb tide. It avails not. Time nor place, distance avails not. I am with you, you men and women of a generation, or ever so many generations hence, just as you feel when you look on the river and sky, so I felt. Just as any of you is one of a living crowd, I was one of a crowd. Just as you are refreshed by the gladness of the river and the bright flow, I was refreshed. Just as you stand and lean on the rail, yet hurry with the swift current, I stood, yet was hurried. Just as you look on the numberless masts of ships and the thick-stemmed pipes of steamboats, I looked. I, too many, and many a time crossed the river of old, watched the 12th-month seagulls, saw them high in the air, floating with motionless wings, oscillating their bodies, saw how the glistening yellow lit up parts of their bodies and left the rest in strong shadow, saw the slow wheeling circles and the gradual edging toward the south, saw the reflection of the summer sky in the water, had my eyes dazzled by the shimmering track of beams, looked at the fine centrifugal spokes of light round the shape of my head in the sunlit water, looked on the haze of the hills southward and southwestward, looked on the vapor as it flew in fleeces tinged with violet, looked toward the lower bay to notice the vessels arriving, saw their approach, saw aboard those that were near me, saw the white sails of schooners and sloops, saw the ships at anchor, the sailors at work in the rigging or out astride the spars, the round masts, the swinging motion of the hulls, the slender serpentine pennants, the large and small steamers in motion, the pilots in their pilot houses, the white wake left by the passage, the quick tremulous whirl of the wheels, the flags of all nations, the falling of them at sunset, the scallop-edged waves in the twilight, the ladled cups, the frolic, some crests and glistening, the stretch of far, growing dimmer and dimmer, the gray walls of the granite storehouses by the docks, on the river the shadowy group, the big steam tug closely flanked. On each side by the barges, the hayboat, the belated lighter. On the neighboring shore, the fires from the foundry chimneys burning high and glaringly into the night, casting their flicker of black contrasted with wild red and yellow light over the tops of houses and down into the clefts of streets. These and all else were to me the same as they are to you. I loved those cities, loved well the stately and rapid river. The men and women I saw were all near to me. Others, the same others who look back at me because I looked forward to them. The time will come, though I stop here today and tonight. What is it, then, between us? What is the count of the scores or hundreds of years between us? Whatever it is, it avails not, distance avails not, and place avails not. I too lived. Brooklyn of ample hills was mine. I too walked the streets of Manhattan Island and bathed in the waters around it. I too felt the curious, abrupt questionings stir within me. In the day, among the crowds of people, sometimes they came upon me. In my walks home late at night, or as I lay in my bed, they came upon me. I, too, had been struck from the float forever held in solution. I, too, had received identity by my body. That I knew was of my body. And what I should be, I knew, should be of my body. It is not upon you alone the dark patches fall. The dark threw its patches down upon me also. The best I had done seemed to me blank and suspicious. My great thoughts, as I supposed them, were they not in reality meager? Nor is it you alone who know what it is to be evil. I am he who knew what it was to be evil. I, too, blabbed, blushed, resented, lied, stole, grudged, had guile, anger, lust, had hot wishes I dared not speak. Was wayward, vain, greedy, shallow, sly, cowardly, malignant, the wolf, the snake, the hog, not wanting in me. The cheating look, the frivolous word, the adulterous wish, not wanting. Refusals, hates, postponements, meanness, laziness, none of these wanting was one with the rest. The days and haps of the rest was called by my nightest name by clear, loud voices of young men as they saw me approaching or passing. Felt their arms on my neck as I stood, or the negligent leaning of their flesh against me as I sat. Saw many I loved in the street or ferry boat or public assembly, yet never told them a word. I lived the same life with the rest, the same old laughing, gnawing, sleeping, played the part that still looks back on the actor or actress. The same old role, the role that is what we make it, as great as we like, or as small as we like, or great, or both great and small. Closer yet, I approach you. What thought you have of me now, I had as much of you. I laid in my stores in advance. I considered long and seriously of you before you were born. Who was to know what would come home to me? Who knows but I am enjoying this? Who knows, for all the distance, but I am as good as looking at you now. For all you cannot see me. What can ever be more stately and admirable to me than most mast-hemmed Manhattan? River and sunset and scalloped edges of flood tide, the seagulls oscillating their bodies, the hayboat in the twilight and the belated lighter. What gods can exceed these that clasp me by the hand, and with voices I love call me promptly and loudly by my nightest name as we approach? What is more subtle than this which ties me to the woman or man that looks in my face? Which fuses me into you now, and pours my meaning into you? We understand, then, do we not? What I promised without mentioning it? Have you not accepted? What the study could not teach, what the preaching could not accomplish, is accomplished, is it not? Flow on, river. Flow with the flood tide, and ebb with the ebb tide. Frolic on, crested and scalloped-edged waves. Gorgeous clouds of the sunset, drench with your splendor me, or the men and women generations after me. Cross from shore to shore countless crowds of passengers. Stand up, tall masts of Manhattan. Stand up, beautiful hills of Brooklyn. Throb, baffled and curious brain. Throw out questions and answers. Suspend here and everywhere eternal float of solution. Gaze, loving and thirsting eyes, in the house or street or public assembly. Sound out, voices of young men loudly and musically call me by my nighest name. Live old life. Play the part that looks back on the actor or actress. Play the old role, the role that is great or small according as one makes it. Consider you who peruse me, whether I may not in unknown ways be looking upon you. Be firm, rail over the river to support those who lean idly. Yet haste with the hasting current. Fly on, seabirds. Fly sideways or wheel in large circles high in the air. Receive the summer sky you water, and faithfully hold it till all downcast eyes have time to take it from you. Diverge, fine spokes of light from the shape of my head, or anyone's head in the sunlit water. Come on, ships from the lower bay, pass up or down white-sailed schooners, sloops, lighters, flaunt away. Flags of all nations be duly lowered at sunset. Burn high your fires, foundry chimneys, cast black shadows at nightfall. Cast red and yellow light over the tops of the houses. Appearances now or henceforth indicate what you are. You necessary film, continue to envelop the soul. About my body for me, and your body for you, be hung our divinest aromas. Thrive, cities. Bring your freight, bring your shows, ample and sufficient rivers. Expand, being then which none else is perhaps more spiritual. Keep your places, objects than which none else is more lasting. You have waited. You always wait. You dumb, beautiful ministers, we receive you with free sense at last, and are insatiate henceforward. Not you any more shall be able to foil us, or withhold yourselves from us. We use you, and do not cast you aside. We plant you permanently within us. We fathom you not. We love you. There is perfection in you also. You furnish your parts toward eternity. Great or small, you furnish your parts toward the soul. All right, that brings us to the end of Book 8. I like that one. That one was a lot of musing about past, present, and future, and shared experiences that surpass time, generations, and everything. Yeah, some details might change, but the grand scope of things, it all carries through. So that was a poignant poem, and of a different sort. It's accepting. It's openness. It's saying that what's to come down the line isn't any less than what has already happened. What has already come is not less or more than what is yet to be. Everything is important in its own little way. All right, let's continue on with Book 9, Song of the Answerer. Now list to my morning's romanza. I tell the signs of the answerer, to The cities and farms I sing as they spread in the sunshine before me. A young man comes to me bearing a message from his brother. How shall the young man know the weather and when of his brother? Tell him to send me the signs, and I stand before the young man, face to face, and take his right hand in my left hand, and his left hand in my right hand, and I answer for his brother and for men, and I answer for him that answers for all, and send these signs. Him all wait for, him all yield up to. His word is decisive and final. Him they accept, in him love, in him perceive themselves as amid light. Him they immerse, and he immerses them. Beautiful women, the haughtiest nations, laws, the landscape, people, animals, the profound earth, and its attributes, and the unquiet ocean. So tell I my morning's romanza. All enjoyments and properties and money, and whatever money will buy, the best farms, others toiling and planting, and he unavoidably reaps. The noblest and costliest cities, others grading and building, and he domiciles there. Nothing for anyone but what is for him, near and far are for him. The ships in the offing, the perpetual shows and marches on land are for him, if they are for anybody. He puts things in their attitudes. He puts today out of himself with plasticity and love. He places his own times, reminisces parents, brothers and sisters, associations, employment, politics, so that the rest never shame them afterward, nor assume to command them. He is the answerer. What can be answered, he answers. And what cannot be answered, he shows how it cannot be answered. A man is a summons and challenge. It is vain to skulk. Do you hear that mocking and laughter? Do you hear the ironical echoes? Books, friendships, philosophers, priests, action, pleasure, pride, beat up and down, seeking to give satisfaction. He indicates the satisfaction, and indicates them that beat up and down also. Whichever the sex, whatever the season or place, he may go freshly and gently and safely by day or by night. He has the passkey of hearts. To him the response of the prying of hands on the knobs. His welcome is universal. The flow of beauty is not more welcome or universal than he is. The person he favors by day or sleeps with at night is blessed. Every existence has its idiom. Everything has an idiom and tongue. He resolves all tongues into his own and bestows it upon men. And any man translates himself also. One part does not counteract another part. He is the joiner. He sees how they join. He says indifferently and alike, "How are you, friend?" to the president at his levee. And he says, "Good day, my brother," to Cudge that hoes in the sugar field. And both understand him and know that his speech is right. And he walks with perfect ease in the Capitol. He walks among the Congress, and one representative says to another, "Here is our equal appearing and new." Then the mechanics take him for a mechanic, and the soldiers suppose him to be a soldier, and the sailors that he has followed the sea. And the authors take him for an author, and the artists for an artist, and the laborers perceive he could labor with them and love them, no matter what the work is, that he is the one to follow it, or has followed it. No matter what the nation, that he might find his brothers and sisters there. The English believes he comes of their English stock. A Jew to the Jew he seems, a Russ to the Russ, usual and near, removed from none. Whoever he looks at in the traveler's coffee house claims him. The Italian or Frenchman is sure. The German is sure. The Spaniard is sure. And the island Cuban is sure. The engineer, the deckhand on the Great Lakes, or on the Mississippi, or St. Lawrence, or Sacramento, or Hudson, or Paumanok Sound claims him. The gentleman of perfect blood acknowledges his perfect blood. The insulter, the prostitute, the angry person, the beggar see themselves in the ways of him. He strangely transmutes them. They are not vile anymore. They hardly know themselves. They are so grown. The indications and tally of time. Perfect sanity shows the master among philosophers. Time, always without break, indicates itself in parts. What always indicates the poet is the crowd of the pleasant company of singers and their words. The words of the singers are the hours or minutes of the light or dark. But the words of the maker of poems are the general light and dark. The maker of poems settles justice, reality, immortality. His insult and power encircle things and the human race. He is the glory and extract thus far of things and of the human race. The singers do not beget. Only the poet begets. The singers are welcomed, understood, appear often enough, but rare has the day been, likewise the spot, of the birth of the maker of poems, the answerer. Not every century, nor every 5 centuries has contained such a day for all its names. The singers of successive hours or centuries may have ostensible names, but the name of each of them is one of the singers. The name of each is eye singer, ear singer, head singer, sweet singer, night singer, parlor singer, love singer, weird singer, or something else. All this time, and at all times, wait the words of true poems. The words of true poems do not merely please. The true poets are not followers of beauty, but the august masters of beauty. The greatness of sons is the exuding of the greatness of mothers and fathers. The words of true poems are the tuft and final applause of science. Divine instinct, breadth of vision, the law of reason, health, rudeness of body, withdrawnness, gaiety, suntan, air, sweetness, such are some of the words of poems. The sailor and traveler underlie the maker of poems, the answerer, the builder, geometer, chemist, anatomist, phrenologist, artist, all these underlie the maker of poems. The answerer. The words of the true poems give you more than poems. They give you to form for yourself poems, religions, politics, war, peace, behavior, histories, essays, daily life, and everything else. They balance ranks, colors, races, creeds, and the sexes. They do not seek beauty, they are sought. Forever touching them or close upon them follows beauty, longing, vain, lovesick. They prepare for death. Yet are they not the finish, but rather the outset? They bring none to his or her terminus, or to be content and full. Whom they take into space, to behold the birth of stars, to learn one of the meanings, to launch off with absolute faith, to sweep through the ceaseless rings and never be quiet again. That one was a rare glimpse of a little bit of haughtiness on Whitman's part. It was a bit of a puffing up of the poets are the real source of beauty, the source of everything. Not every century has a poet. There are very, very few of us. So it's a rare little bit of tooting of one's own horn. but it was done in a good way, in a believable way. If Walt Whitman said, the only real artists are poets, everything else is derivative, I'd be like, you know what? It's you saying it, so maybe. It's worth a consideration. Exactly. It's, by and large, you know what? I think he's earned a little bit of, a little side gig of being a little pompous. He's got enough wins in one column. He can have a little bit on the other side. It's fine. I don't need promotion. Thank you very much. I rather enjoy my small community. Be gone, please. Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and continue with book 10. This one is a little bit of a doozy, actually, so we'll see how far we get before we have to break for ads. Oh, good lord, how do I say that? Our old village? Oh, good God. Bias? Okay. That's, you know what? If you're gonna say leaf, but I guess he is a poet, so it do be that way. All right, book 10, Our Old Fayals. Always our old Fayals. Always Florida's green peninsula, always the priceless delta of Louisiana, always the cotton fields of Alabama and Texas, always California's golden hills and hollows and the silver mountains of New Mexico, always soft-breathed Cuba, always the vast slope drained by the southern sea, inseparable with the slopes drained by the eastern and western seas. The area, the 83rd year of these states, the 3.5 millions of square miles, the 18,000 miles of sea coast and bay coast on the Main, the 30,000 miles of river navigation, the 7 millions of distinct families and the same number of dwellings, always these and more, branching forth into numberless branches, always the free range and diversity, always the continent of democracy. Always the prairies, pastures, forests, vast cities, travelers, Canada, the snows, always these compact lands tied at the hips, with the belt stringing the huge oval lakes. Always the West, with strong native persons, the increasing density there, the habitants, friendly, threatening, ironical, scorning invaders, all sights, north, south, northeast, all deeds, promiscuously done at all times. All characters, movements, growths, a few noticed, myriads unnoticed, through Manhattan's streets I walking, these things gathering. Oh, on interior rivers, by night in the glare of pine knots, steamboats wooding up, sunlight by day on the valley of Susquehanna, and on the valleys of the Potomac and Rappahannock, and the valleys of the Roanoke and Delaware. In their northerly wilds, beasts of prey haunting the Adirondacks, the hills, or lapping the Saginaw waters to drink. In a lonesome inlet, a shell drink lost from the flock, sitting on the water, rocking silently. In farmers' barns, oxen in the stable, their harvest labor done, they rest, standing there too tired. Afar on Arctic ice, the she-walrus lying drowsily while her cubs play around, the hawk sailing where men have not yet sailed, the farthest polar sea, ripply, crystalline, open beyond the floes. White drift spooning ahead where the ship in the tempest dashes. On solid land, what is done in cities as the bells strike midnight together. In primitive woods, the sounds there also sounding, the howl of the wolf, the scream of the panther. Sorry, had to snooze ads for a moment. I want to get to at least something that pretends to look like a breaking spot. The scream of the panther and the hoarse bellow of the elk. In winter, beneath the hard blue ice of Moosehead Lake. In summer, visible through the clear waters, the great trout swimming. In lower latitudes, in warmer air. In the Carolinas, the large black buzzard floating slowly high beyond the treetops. Below, the red cedar festooned with tilandria, the pines and cypresses growing out of the white sand that spreads far and flat. Rude boats descending the big Pidi, climbing plants, parasites with colored flowers and berries enveloping huge trees. The waving drapery on the live oak trailing long and low, noiselessly waved by the wind, the camp of Georgia wagoners. Just after dark, the supper fires and the cooking and eating by whites and Negroes. 30 or 40 great wagons, the mules, cattle, horses feeding from troughs. The shadows gleams up under the leaves of the old sycamore trees, the flames with the black smoke from the pitch pine curling and rising, southern fishermen fishing, the sounds and inlets of North Carolina's coast, the shad fishery and the herring fishery, the large sweep scenes, the windlasses on shore worked by horses, the clearing, curing, and packing houses. Deep in the forest, in piney woods, turpentine dropping from the incisions in the trees. There are the turpentine works. There are the Negroes at work in good health. The ground in all directions is covered with pine straw. In Tennessee and Kentucky, slaves busy in the coalings at the forge, by the furnace blaze, or at the corn shucking. In Virginia, the planter's son, returning after a long absence, joyfully welcomed and kissed by the aged mulatto nurse. On rivers, boatmen safely moored at nightfall. In their boats under shelters of high banks, some of the younger men dance to the sound of the banjo or fiddle, others sit on the gunwale smoking and talking. Late in the afternoon, the mockingbird, the American mimic, singing in the great dismal swamp. There on the greenish waters, the resinous odor, the plenteous moss, the cypress tree, and the juniper tree. Northward, young men of Manhattan, the target company from an excursion, returning home at evening. The musket muzzles all bear bunches of flowers presented by women. Children at play, or on his father's lap, a young boy fallen asleep. How his lips move! How he smiles in his sleep! The scout riding on horseback over the plains west of the Mississippi. He ascends a knoll and sweeps his eyes around. California life. The miner, bearded, dressed in his rude costume. The staunch California friendship, the sweet air that graves one in passing meets solitary just aside the horse path. Down in Texas, the cotton field, the Negro cabins, drivers driving mules or oxen before the rude carts, cotton bales piled on banks and wharves, encircling all. Fast darting up and wide the American soul, with equal hemispheres. One love, one dilation or pride. In arriere, the peace talk with the Iroquois and Aborigines. The calumet, the pipe of goodwill, arbitration, and endorsement. The sachem, blowing the smoke first toward the sun and then toward the earth. The drama of the scalp dance enacted with painted faces and guttural exclamations. The setting out of the war party, the long and stealthy march, the single file, the swinging hatchets, the surprise and slaughter of enemies. All the acts, scenes, ways, persons, attitudes of these states, reminiscences, institutions. All these states compact, every square mile of these states, without accepting a particle. All right, let's go ahead. We're at the top of this page, and we had a convenient semicolon there. So let's go ahead and take a short break so we can get ads out of the way. I do not like to have anyone have to sit through ads. So let's go ahead and take a short break, and we'll be back in just a little while to continue. If it will let me start the ads. There it is. There's the button. All right, we are, well, okay, hang tight. Couple seconds. And all right, we are back. And again, as always, whenever we're back, the chat previously gets flushed away because meh. Anyway, let's continue. We left off about halfway through this poem. Me pleased, rambling in lanes and country fields, Pominox fields, observing the spiral flight of two little yellow butterflies, shuffling between each other, ascending high in the air, the darting swallow, the destroyer of insects, the fall traveler, southward but returning northward early in the spring, the country boy at the close of the day driving the herd of cows and shouting to them as they loiter to browse by the roadside. The city wharf, Boston, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Charleston, New Orleans, San Francisco, the departing ships when the sailors heave at the capstan. Evening, me in my room, the setting sun, the setting summer sun, shining in my open window, showing the swarm of flies suspended, balancing in the air in the center of the room, darting athwart up and down, casting swift shadows in specks on the opposite wall where the shine is. the athletic American matron speaking in public to crowds of listeners. Males, females, immigrants, combinations, the copiousness, the individuality of the states, each for itself, the moneymakers, factories, machinery, the mechanical forces, the windlass, lever, pulley, all certainties. The certainty of space, increase, freedom, futurity. That's the word, futurity. In space, the sporades, the scattered islands, the stars on the firm earth, the lands, my lands, oh lands, all so dear to me, what you are, whatever it is. I, putting it at random in these songs, become a part of that, whatever it is. Southward there, I screaming with wings slow flapping, with the myriads of gulls wintering along the coasts of Florida. Other ways there, atwixt the banks of the Arkansas, the Rio Grande, the Nueces, the Brazos, the Tombigby, the Red River, the Saskatchewan, or the Osage. I, with the spring waters lapping and skipping and running. Northward, on the sands, on some shallow bay of Paumanok, I, with parties of snowy herons, wading in the wet to seek worms and aquatic plants, retreating triumphantly, twittering, the king bird from piercing the crow with its bill for amusement, and I, triumphantly, twittering, the migrating flock of wild geese alighting in autumn to refresh themselves, the body of the flock feed. The sentinels outside move around with erect heads watching, and are from time to time relieved by other sentinels, and I feeding and taking turns with the rest. In Canadian forests, the moose, large as an ox cornered by hunters, rising desperately on his hind feet and plunging with his forefeet, the hooves as sharp as knives, and I plunging at the hunters, cornered and desperate. In Manhattan, streets, piers, shipping, storehouses, and the countless workmen working in the shops, and I, too, of the Manhattan, singing thereof, and no less in myself than the whole of the Manhattan in itself, singing the song of these, my ever-united lands, my body no more, inevitably united part to part, and made out of 1,000 diverse contributions one identity. Any more than my lands are inevitably united and made one identity. Nativities, climates, the grass of the great pastoral plains, cities, labors, death, animals, products, war, good and evil, these, me, these affording in all their particulars the old theos to me and to America. How can I do less than pass the clue of the union of them to afford the like to you? Whoever you are, how can I but offer you divine leaves, that you might also be eligible as I am? How can I but, as here chanting, invite you for yourself to collect bouquets of the incomparable flowers of these states? All right, that brings us to the end of Book 8. And that was, this whole section that we're reading tonight is very inclusive, really. And it feels a lot like what we've read so far. It's Whitman just generally being a good dude. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with more of the same. If more of the same is this, I'm cool with this. All right, so let's continue in that spirit with Book 9. Or no, Book 11. Roman numerals. A Song of Joys. Oh, to make the most jubilant song! Full of music, full of manhood, womanhood, infancy, full of common employments, full of grain and trees. Oh, for the voices of animals, oh, for the swiftness and balance of fishes, oh, for the dropping of raindrops in a song, Oh, for the sunshine and motions of waves in a song! Oh, the joy of my spirit! It is uncaged, it darts like lightning. It is not enough to have this globe or a certain time. I will have thousands of globes and all time. Oh, the engineer's joys! To go with a locomotive, to hear the hiss of steam, the merry shriek, the steam whistle, the laughing locomotive. To push with resistless way and speed off in the distance. Oh, the gleesome saunter over fields and hillsides, the leaves and flowers of the commonest weeds, the moist, fresh stillness of the woods, the exquisite smell of the earth at daybreak, and all through the forenoon. Oh, the horsemen's and horsewomen's joys, the saddle, the gallop, the pressure upon the seat, the cool gurgling by the ears and hair. Oh, the fireman's joys! I hear the alarm at dead of night. I hear bells, shouts. I pass the crowd. I run. The sight of the flames maddens me with pleasure. Oh, the joy of the strong, brawned fighter, towering in the arena in perfect condition, conscious of power, thirsting to meet his opponent. Oh, the joy of that vast, elemental sympathy, which only the human soul is capable of generating and emitting in steady and limitless floods. Oh, the mother's joys, the watching, the endurance, the precious love, the anguish, the patiently yielded life. Oh, the increase, growth, recuperation, the joy of soothing and pacifying, the joy of concord and harmony. Oh, to go back to the place where I was born, to hear the birds sing once more, to ramble about the house and barn and over the fields once more, and through the orchard and along the old lanes once more. Oh, to have been brought up on bays, lagoons, creeks, or along the coast, to continue and be employed there all my life. The briny and damp smell, the shore, the salt weeds exposed at low water, the work of fishermen, the work of the eel fisher and clam fisher. I come with my clam rake and spade. I come with my eel spear. Is the tide out? I join the group of clam diggers on the flats. I laugh and work with them. I joke at my work like a meddlesome young man. In winter I take my eel basket and eel spear and travel out on foot. On the ice, I have a small axe to cut holes in the ice. Behold me well clothed, going gaily or returning in the afternoon. My brood of tough boys accompanying me. My brood of grown and part-grown boys who love to be with no one else so well as they love to be with me. By day to work with me, and by night to sleep with me. Another time in warm weather, out in a boat, to lift the lobster pots where they're sunk with heavy stones. I know the buoys. Oh, the sweetness of the 5th month morning on the water as I rowed just before sunrise toward the buoys. I pull the wicker pots up slantingly. The dark green lobsters are desperate with their claws as I take them out. I insert wooden pegs in the oints of their pincers. I go to all the places, one after another, and then row back to the shore. There, in a huge kettle of boiling water, the lobsters shall be boiled till their color becomes scarlet. Another time mackerel taking. Voracious, mad for the hook near the surface, they seem to fill the water for miles. Another time fishing for rockfish in Chesapeake Bay. I, one of the brown-faced crew. Another time trailing for bluefish off Paumanok. I stand with braced body, my left foot is on the gunwale, my right arm throws far out the coils of slender rope. In sight around me the quick veering and darting of 50 skiffs, my companions. Oh, boating on the rivers. The voyage down the St. Lawrence, the superb scenery, the steamers, the ships sailing, the 1,000 islands, the occasional timber raft, and the raftsmen with long-reaching sweep oars. The little pots on the rafts, and the stream of smoke when they cook supper at evening. Oh, something pernicious and dread, something far away from puny and pious life, something unproved, something in a trance, something escaped from the anchorage and driving free. Oh, to work in mines, or forging iron foundry, casting the foundry itself, the rude high roof, the ample and shadowed space, the furnace, the hot liquid poured out and running. Oh, to resume the joys of the soldier, to feel the presence of a brave, commanding officer, to feel his sympathy, to behold his calmness, to be warmed in the rays of his smile, to go to battle, to hear the bugles play and hear the drums beat, to hear the crash of artillery, to see the glittering of the bayonets and musket barrels in the sun, to see men fall and die and not complain, to taste the savage taste of blood, to be so devilish, to gloat so over the wounds and deaths of the enemy. Oh, the whaleman's joys! Oh, I cruise my old cruise again. I feel the ship's motion under me. I feel the Atlantic breezes fanning me. I hear the cry again, sent down from the masthead. There she blows. Again I spring up the rigging to look. With the rest we descend, wild with excitement. I leap in the lowered boat. We row toward our prey where he lies. We approach stealthy and silent. I see the mountainous mass lethargic, basking. I see the harpooner standing up. I see the weapon dart from his vigorous arm. Oh, swift again, far out in the ocean, the wounded whale settling, running to windward, tows me. Again I see him rise to breathe. We row close again. I see a lance driven through his side, pressed deep, turned in the wound. Again we back off. I see him settle again. The life is leaving him fast. As he rises, he spouts blood. I see him swim in circles, narrower and narrower, swiftly cutting the water. I see him die. He gives one convulsive leap in the center of the circle, and then falls flat and still in the bloody foam. Oh, the old manhood of me, the noblest joy of all! My children and grandchildren, my white hair and beard, my largeness, calmness, majesty out of a long stretch of my life. Oh, Star, you got a 10th Street going. Nice. And good evening. Oh, ripened joy of womanhood. Oh, happiness at last. I am more than 80 years of age. I am the most venerable mother. How clear is my mind, how all people draw nigh to me. What attractions are these beyond any before? What bloom more than the bloom of youth? What beauty is this that descends upon me and rises out of me? Oh, the orator's joys, to inflate the chest, to roll the thunder of the voice out from the ribs and throat, to make the people rage, weep, hate, desire with yourself, to lead America, to quell America with a great tongue. Oh, the joy of my soul, learning, leaning, poised on itself, receiving identity through materials and loving them. Observing characters and absorbing them, my soul vibrated back to me from them, from sight, hearing, touch, reason, articulation, comparison, memory, and the like. The real life of my senses, and flesh transcending my senses and flesh. My body done with materials, my sight done with my material eyes, proved to me this day beyond cavil that it is not my material eyes which finally see, nor my material body which finally loves, walks, laughs, shouts, embraces, procreates. Oh, the farmer's joys! Ohioans, Illinoisans, Wisconsinese, Canadians, Iowans, Kansians, Missourians, Oregonese joys, to rise at peep of day and pass forth nimbly to work, to plow land in the fall for winter-sown crops, to plow land in the spring for maize, to train orchards, to graft the trees, to gather apples in the fall. Oh, to bathe in the swimming bath, or in a good place along the shore, to splash the water, to walk ankle deep, or race naked along the shore. Oh, to realize space, the plenteousness of all, that there are no bounds, to emerge and be of the sky, the sun and moon and flying clouds as one with them. Oh, the joy of manly selfhood, to be servile to none, to defer to none, not to any tyrant known or unknown, to walk with erect carriage, a step springy and elastic, to look with calm gaze or with a flashing eye, to speak with a full and sonorous voice out of a broad chest, to confront with your personality all the other personalities of the earth. Knowest thou the excellent joys of youth? Joys of the dear companions, and of the merry word and laughing face? Joy of the glad light, beaming day, joy of the wide-breathed games, joy of sweet music, joy of the lighted ballroom and the dancers, joy of the plenteous dinner, strong carouse and drinking. Yet, O my soul supreme, knowest thou the joys of pensive thought, joys of the free and lonesome heart, the tender, gloomy heart, joys of the solitary walk, the spirit bowed yet proud, the suffering and the struggle, the agonistic throes, the ecstasies, joys of the solemn musings day or night, joys of the thought of death, the great spheres, time and space, prophetic joys of better, loftier love's ideals, the divine wife, the sweet, eternal, perfect comrade, joys all thine own, undying one, joys worthy thee, O soul. Oh, while I live, to be the ruler of life, not a slave, to meet life as a powerful conqueror, no fumes, no ennui, no more complaints or scornful criticisms. To these proud laws of the air, the water, and the ground, proving my interior soul impregnable, and nothing exterior shall ever take command of me. For not life's joys alone I sing, repeating the joy of death, the beautiful touch of death, soothing and benumbing a few moments, for reasons. I myself discharging my excrementitious body to be burned or rendered into powder or buried, my real body doubtless left to me for other spheres, my voided body nothing more to me, returning to the purifications, further offices, eternal uses of the earth. Oh, to attract by more than attraction. How it is, I know not, yet behold. I know not, yet behold, the something which obeys none of the rest. It is offensive, never defensive, yet how magnetic it draws. Oh, to struggle against great odds, to meet enemies undaunted, to be entirely alone with them, to find how much one can stand, to look strife, torture, prison, popular odium face to face, to mount the scaffold, to advance to the muzzles of guns with perfect nonchalance, to be indeed a god. Oh, to sail to sea in a ship, to leave this steady, unendurable land, to leave the tiresome sameness of the streets, the sidewalks, and the houses, to leave you, oh, you solid, motionless land, and entering a ship, to sail and sail and sail, to have life henceforth a poem of new joys, to dance, clap hands, exult, shout, skip, leap, roll on, float on, to be a sailor of the world, bound for all ports, a ship itself. See, indeed, these sails I spread to the sun and air, a swift and swelling ship, full of rich words, full of joys. All right. That was book 11. And again, Waltz just gives us perspective that there are so very many different kinds of joys. The joys of daily life from everyone's life. Every walk of life has its own flavor of joy. Different parts and times in your life can have a different flavor of joy. It is refreshing to see someone so openly accepting of all the different sorts and the different shapes and forms of satisfaction that we can have in life. It doesn't need to be anything like mine or anything I know, but if it brings you happiness, brings you satisfaction, brings you joy, it is entirely as valid as anything else. I do think of everyone we've read, probably everyone, any author we've touched on, the most open, the most accepting of the human condition is probably Walt Whitman. We've had some good eggs, but he's about as close to a perfect example to hold up of what we should all strive to be. I can't think of anybody better so far. All right, continuing on with Book 12, Song of the Broadaxe. Weapon shapely, naked, wan. Head from the mother's bowels drawn, wooded flesh and metal bone, limb only one and lip only one. Gray-blue leaf by red heat grown, helve produced from a little seed sown, resting the grass amid and upon, to be leaned and to lean on. Strong shapes and attributes of strong shapes, masculine trades, sights and sounds, long varied train of an emblem, dabs of music, fingers of the organist skipping staccato over the keys of the great organ. Something about Whitman's emotion as he goes through. It's very easy to lose yourself in the verse and just let it rip. So there are a few points where it's like you just kind of sit up a little straighter in your chair and belt it out, right? Welcome are all earth's lands, each for its kind. Welcome are lands of pine and oak. Welcome are lands of the lemon and fig. Welcome are lands of gold. Welcome are lands of wheat and maize. Welcome those of the grape. Welcome are lands of sugar and rice. Welcome the cotton lands. Welcome those of the white potato and sweet potato. Welcome are mountains, flats, sands, forests, prairies. Welcome the rich borders of rivers, tablelands, openings. Welcome the measureless grazing lands. Welcome the teeming soil of orchards, flax, honey, hemp. Welcome just as much the other more hard-faced lands. Lands rich as lands of gold or wheat or fruit lands. Lands of mines, lands of the manly and rugged ores, lands of coal, copper, lead, tin, zinc, lands of iron, lands of the make of the axe. The log at the woodpile, the axe supported by it. The sylvan hut, the vine over the doorway, the space cleared for God, and the irregular tapping of rain down on the leaves after the storm is lulled. The walling and moaning at intervals, the thought of the sea, the thought of ships struck in the storm and put on their beam ends, and the cutting away of masts. The sentiment of the huge timbers, of old-fashioned houses and barns, the remembered print or narrative, the voyage and adventure of men, families, goods, the disembarkation, the founding of a new city, the voyage of those who sought a New England and found it. the outset anywhere. The settlements of the Arkansas, Colorado, Ottawa, Willamette, the slow progress, the scant fare, the axe, rifles, saddlebags, the beauty of all adventurous and daring persons, the beauty of wood boys and wood men with their clear, untrimmed faces, the beauty of independence, departure, actions that rely on themselves, the American contempt for statues and ceremonies. Can we bring back some of that contempt for statues? Oh, statutes. Okay. Statutes. There's an extra T in there. Okay. We can bring some of that back too. The boundless impatience of restraint. The loose drift of character. The inkling through random types. The solidification. The butcher in the slaughterhouse. The hands aboard schooners and sloops. The raftsman. The pioneer. Lumbermen in their winter camp. Daybreak in the woods, stripes of snow on the limbs of trees, the occasional snapping, the glad, clear sound of one's own voice, merry song, the natural life of the woods, the strong day's work, the blazing fire at night, the sweet taste of supper, the talk, the bed of hemlock boughs and the bear skin, the house builder at work in cities or anywhere. The preparatory jointing, squaring, sawing, mortising, the hoist up of beams, the push of them in their places, laying them regular, setting the studs by their tenons in the mortises according as they were prepared. The blows of mallets and hammers, the attitudes of the men, their curved limbs, bending, standing astride the beams, driving in pins, holding on by posts and braces, the hooked arm over the plate, the other arm wielding the axe. The floormen forcing the planks close to be nailed, their postures bringing their weapons downward on the bearers. The echoes resounding through the vacant building, the huge storehouse carried up in the city well underway. The 6 framing men, 2 in the middle and 2 at each end, carefully bearing on their shoulders a heavy stick for a crossbeam. A crowded line of masons with trowels in their right hands rapidly laying the long side wall 200 feet from front to rear. The flexible rise and fall of backs, the continual click of the trowels striking the bricks. The bricks, one after another, each laid so workmanlike in its place, and set with a knock of the trowel handle. The piles of materials, the mortar on the mortar boards, and the steady replenishing by the hardmen. Spar makers in the spar yard, the swarming row of well-grown apprentices, the swing of their axes on the square-hewed log, shaping it toward the shape of a mast. The brisk, short crackle of the steel driven slantingly into the pine, the butter-colored chips flying off in great flakes and slivers. The limber motion of brawny young arms and hips in easy costumes. The constrictor of wharves, bridges, piers, bulkheads, floats, stays against the sea. The city firemen, the fire that suddenly burst forth in the close-packed square, the arriving engines, the hoarse shouts, the nimble stepping and daring, the strong command through the fire trumpets and the falling in line, the rise and fall of the arms forcing the water, the slender, spasmic, blue-white jets, the bringing to bear of the hooks and ladders and their execution, the crash and cutaway of connecting woodwork, or through floors, if the fire smolders under them. The crowd, with their lit faces watching, the glare and dense shadows, the forger at his forge furnace, and the user of iron after him. The maker of the axe, large and small, the welder, and temper, the chooser breathing his breath on the cold steel and trying the edge with his thumb, the one who clean shapes the handle and sets it firmly in the socket, the shadowy processions of the portraits of the past users also, the primal patient mechanics, the architects and engineers, the far-off Assyrian edifice and Misra edifice, the Roman lictors, preceding the consuls, the antique European warrior with his axe in combat, the uplifted arm, the clatter of blows on the helmeted head, the death howl, the limpsy, tumbling body, the rush of friend and foe thither, the siege of revolted lieges and determined for liberty, the summons to surrender, the battering and castle gates, the truce and parley, the sack of an old city in its time, the bursting in of mercenaries and bigots tumultuously and disorderly. Roar, flames, blood, drunkenness, madness, goods freely rifled from houses and temples, screams of women in the gripe of brigands, craft and thievery of camp followers, men running, old persons despairing, the hell of war. The cruelties of creeds, the list of all executive deeds and words, just or unjust, the power of personality, just or unjust. Muscle and pluck forever. What invigorates life invigorates death. What the dead advance as much as the living advance. And the future is no more uncertain than the present. For the roughness of the earth and of man encloses as much as the delicatesse of the earth and of man. And nothing endures but personal qualities. What do you think endures? Do you think a great city endures? Or a teeming manufacturing state? Or a prepared constitution? Or the best-built steamships? Or hotels of granite and iron? Or of any chef-d'oeuvres of engineering? Forts? Armaments? Away. These are not to be cherished for themselves. They fill their hour. The dancers dance, the musicians play for them. The show passes. All does well enough, of course. All does very well, till one flash of defiance. A great city is that which has the greatest men and women. If it be a few ragged huts, it is still the greatest city in the whole world. The place where a great city stands is not the place of stretched wharves, docks, manufactures, deposits of produce merely, nor the place of ceaseless salutes of newcomers, or the anchor lifters of the departing, nor the place of the tallest and costliest buildings or shops, selling goods from the rest of the earth, nor the place of the best libraries and schools, nor the place where money is plenteest, nor the place of the most numerous population. Where the city stands, with the brawniest breed of orators and bards, where the city stands that is beloved by these and loves them in return and understands them, where no monument exists to heroes, but in the common words and deeds, where thrift is in its place and prudence is in its place, where the men and women think lightly of the laws, where the slave ceases and the master of slaves ceases, where the populace rise at once against the never-ending audacity of elected persons, where fierce men and women pour forth as the sea to the whistle of death pours its sweeping and unripped waves, where outside authority enters always after the precedence of inside authority, where the citizen is always the head and ideal, and president, mayor, governor, and whatnot are agents for pay, where children are taught to be laws of them to themselves, and to depend on themselves, where equanimity is illustrated in affairs, where speculations on the soul are encouraged, where women walk in public processions in the streets the same as the men, where they enter the public assembly and take places the same as the men, where the city of the faithfulest friends stands, where the city of the cleanliness of the sexes stands, where the city of the healthiest fathers stands, where the city of the best-bodied mothers stands. There, the great city stands. Okay, a quick moment before we continue with the next verse. Proponent of women marching in the streets just like men, entering the public assembly and taking the same places as men. This is like in the late 1860s, mind you. Well and goodly before universal enfranchisement, universal suffrage. So, once again, Walt shows us that he's ahead of his time, and honestly probably better than many current day current day political figures. Fair. It's like, I guess. How beggarly appear arguments before a defiant deed. How the floridness of the materials of cities shrivels before a man's or woman's look. All waits, or goes by default, till a strong being appears. A strong being is the proof of the race and of the ability of the universe. When he or she appears, materials are overawed. The dispute on the soul stops. The old customs and phrases are confronted, turned back, or laid away. What is your money making now? What can it do now? What is your respectability now? What are your theology, tuition, society, tradition, statute books now? Where are your jibes of being now? Where are your cavils about the soul now? A sterile landscape covers the ore. There is as good as the best for all the forbidding appearance. There is the mine. There are the miners. The forge furnace is there. The melt is accomplished. The hammersmen are at hand with their tongs and hammers. What always served and always serves is at hand. Than this nothing has better served. It has served all. Served the fluent-tongued and subtle-sensed Greek, and long ere the Greek, served in building the buildings that last longer than any. Served the Hebrew, the Persian, the most ancient Hindustani. Served the mound raiser on the Mississippi. Served those whose relics remain in Central America. Served Albic temples in woods or on plains with unhewn pillars and the Druids. Served the artificial clefts, vast, high, silent on the snow-covered hills of Scandinavia. Served those who time out of mind made on the granite walls rough sketches of the sun, moon, stars, ships, ocean, waves. Served the paths of the eruptions of the Goths. Served the pastoral tribes and nomads. Served the long-distant Celt. Served the hardy pirates of the Baltic. Served before any of these the venerable and harmless men of Ethiopia. Served the making of helms for the galleys of pleasure, and the making of those for war. Served all great works on land and all great works on the sea for the medieval ages and before the medieval ages. Served not the living only then as now, but served the dead. I see the European headsman. He stands masked, clothed in red with huge legs and strong naked arms, and leans on a ponderous axe. Whom have you slaughtered lately, European headsman? Whose is that blood upon you so wet and sticky? I see the clear sunsets of the martyrs. I see the scaffolds, the descending ghosts, ghosts of dead lords, uncrowned ladies, impeached ministers, rejected kings, rivals, traitors, poisons, disgraced chieftains, and the rest. I see those who in any land have died for the good cause. The seed is spare. Nevertheless, the crop shall never run out. Mind you, O foreign kings, O priests, the crop shall never run out. I see the blood washed entirely away from the axe. Both blade and helve are clean. They spurt no more the blood of European nobles. They clasp no more the necks of queens. I see the headsman withdraw and become useless. I see the scaffold untrodden and mouldy. I see no longer any axe upon it. I see the mighty and friendly emblem of the power of my own race, the newest, largest race, America. I do not vaunt my love for you. I have what I have. The axe leaps. The solid forest gives fluid utterances. they tumble forth, they rise and foam. Hut, tent, landing, survey, flail, plough, pick, crowbar, spade, shingle, rail, prop, wainscot, lamb, lathe, panel, gable, citadel, ceiling, saloon, academy, organ, exhibition house, library, cornice, trellis, pilaster, balcony, window, turret, porch, hoe, rake, pitchfork, pencil, wagon, staff, saw, jackplane, mallet, wedge, routes, chair, tub, hoop, table, wicket, vane, sash, floor, workbox, chest, stringed instrument, boat, frame, and whatnot. Capitals of states and capital of the nation of states, long stately rows and avenues, hospitals for orphans or for the poor or sick, Manhattan steamboats, and clippers taking the measure of all seas. All right, Walt, let me breathe. Please, brother, just let me breathe. The shapes arise. Shapes of the using of axes anyhow, and the users and all that neighbours them, cutters down of wood, and haulers of it to the Penobscot or Kennebec, dwellers in cabins among the Californian mountains or by the little lakes or on the Columbia, dwellers south on the banks of the Gila or the Rio Grande. Friendly gatherings, the characters and fun, dwellers along the St. Lawrence or north in Canada, or down by the Yellowstone, dwellers on coasts and off coasts, seal fishers, whalers, Arctic seamen breaking passages through the ice. The shapes arise. Shapes of factories, arsenals, foundries, markets, shapes of the two-threaded tracks of railroads, shapes of the sleepers of bridges, vast frameworks, girders, arches, shapes of the fleets of barges, tows, lake and canal craft, river craft, shipyards and dry docks along the eastern and western seas, and in many a bay and byplace. The live oak kelsons, the pine planks, the spars, the hackmatack roots for knees. The ships themselves on their ways, the tiers of scaffolds, the workmen busy outside and inside, the tools lying around the great auger and little auger, the adze, the bolt, line, square, gauge, and bead plane. The shapes arise. The shape measured, sawed, jacked, joined, stained, the coffin shape for the dead to lie within in his shroud. The shape got out in posts. In the bedstead posts, in the posts of the bride's bed, the shape of the little trough, the shape of the rockers beneath, the shape of the babe's cradle, the shape of the floor planks for dancers' feet, the shape of the planks of the family home, the home of the friendly parents and children, the shape of the roof of the home of the happy young man and woman, the roof over the well-married young man and woman, the roof over the supper joyously cooked by the chaste wife and joyously eaten by the chaste husband. Content after his day's work, the shapes arise. The shape of the prisoner's place in the courtroom, and of him or her seated in the place. The shape of the liquor bar, leaned against by the young rum drinker and the old rum drinker. The shape of the shamed and angry stairs trod by sneaking footsteps. The shape of the sly settee and the adulterous, unwholesome couple. The shape of the gambling board with its devilish winnings and losings. The shape of the step-ladder and for the convicted and sentenced murderer. The murderer with haggard face and pinioned arms. The sheriff at hand with his deputies. The silent and white-lipped crowd. The dangling of the rope. The shapes arise. Shapes of doors, giving many exits and entrances. The door passing the dissevered friend flushed and in haste. The door that admits good news and bad news. The door whence the son left home confident and puffed up. The door he entered again from a long and scandalous absence, diseased, broken down, without innocence, without means. Her shape arises. She less guarded than ever, yet more guarded than ever. The gross and soiled she moves among do not make her gross and soiled. She knows the thoughts as she passes. Nothing is concealed from her. She is none the less considerate or friendly, therefore. She is the best beloved. It is without exception. She has no reason to fear, and she does not fear. Oaths, quarrels, hiccups, songs, smutty expressions are idle to her as she passes. She is silent. She is possessed of herself. They do not offend her. She receives them as the laws of nature receive them. She is strong. She, too, is a law of nature. There is no law stronger than she is. The main shapes arise. Shapes of democracy total, result of centuries, shapes ever projecting other shapes, shapes of turbulent manly cities, shapes of the friends and homegivers of the whole earth, shapes bracing the earth, embraced with the whole earth. Okay, that one had a little bit of everything. A lot of the various uses of all the materials and means that are gathered and worked and put together. The good, the bad, all the pieces of society. Where they've come together, where they break apart. Not really what I was expecting of it for a Song of the Axe, but I'll certainly take it. Alright, let's see. Our next one is a little on the longer side. Let's see. It's a little bit, a little shorter than the last. We're gonna run a little bit over, but let's get one more poem in tonight. So we'll continue with Book 13, Song of the Exposition. Ah, little recks the laborer, how near his work is holding him to God, the loving laborer through space and time. After all, not to create only or found only, but to bring, perhaps, from afar what is already founded, to give it our own identity, average, limitless, free, to fill the gross, the torpid, bulk with vital religious fire. Not to repel or destroy so much as accept, fuse, rehabilitate, to obey as well as command, to follow more than to lead. These also are the lessons of our new world. While how little the new, after all. How much the old world. Long and long has the grass been growing. Long and long has the rain been falling. Long has the globe been rolling around. Come, Muse, migrate from Greece and Ionia. Cross out, please, those immensely overpaid accounts. That matter of Troy and Achilles' wrath and Aeneas' Odysseus' wanderings, placard removed and to let on the rocks of your snowy Parnassus. Repeat at Jerusalem, place the notice high on Jaffa's gate and on Mount Moriah. The same on the walls of your German, French, and Spanish castles and Italian collections, for know a better, richer, busier sphere, a wide, untried domain awaits, demands you, responsive to our summons, or rather, to her long-nursed inclination. Joined with an irresistible natural gravitation, she comes! I hear the rustling of her gown, I scent the odor of her breath, delicious fragrance. I mark her step, divine her curious eyes a turning, rolling upon this very scene, the dame of dames. Could I believe then? Those ancient temples, sculptures classic, could none of them retain her, nor shades of Virgil and Dante, nor myriad memories, poems, old associations, magnetize and hold on to her. But that she's left them all. And here, yes, if you will allow me to say so, if I, my friends, if you do not, can plainly see her. The same undying soul of Earth's activities, beauties, heroisms, expression, out from her evolutions hither come, ended the strata of her former themes, hidden and covered by today's foundation of today's ended, deceased through time, her voice, Castelli's foundation. Silent, the broken-lipped sphinx in Egypt, silent all those century-baffling tombs, ended for aye the epics of Asia's, Europe's helmeted warriors, ended the primitive call of the muses, Calliope's call forever closed, Clio, Melpomene, Thalia dead, ended the stately rhythmus of Una and Oriana, ended the quest of the Holy Grail. Jerusalem, a handful of ashes blown by the wind extinct. The Crusaders, streams of shadowy midnight troops, sped with the sunrise. Amadis, Tancred, utterly gone. Charlemagne, Roland, Oliver, gone. Palmer and Ogre, departed. Vanished the turrets that Usk from its waters reflected. Arthur, vanished with all his knights. Merlin and Lancelot and Galahad, all gone, dissolved utterly like an exhalation. Past, past. For us, forever past. That once so mighty world, now void, inanimate, phantom world, embroidered, dazzling foreign world, with all its gorgeous legends, myths, its kings and castles proud, its priests and warlike lords and courtly dames, passed to its charnel vault, coffined with crown and armor on, blazoned with Shakespeare's purple page, and dirged by Tennyson's sweet sad rhyme. I say I see, my friends, if you do not. The illustrious emigre, having it is true in her day, although the same change journeyed considerable, making directly for this rendezvous, vigorously clearing a path for herself, striding through the confusion, by thus thud of machinery and shrill steam whistle, undismayed, bluffed not a bit by drainpipe, gasometers, artificial fertilizers, smiling and pleased with palpable intent to stay. She's here, installed amid the kitchenware. But hold, don't I forget my manners. To introduce the stranger. What else indeed do I live to chant for? To thee, Columbia. In liberty's name, welcome. Immortal, clasp hands, and ever henceforth sisters dear be both. Fear not, O Muse. Truly, new ways and days receive, surround you. I candidly confess a queer race of novel fashion, and yet the same old human race. The same within, without, faces and hearts, the same feelings, the same yearnings, the same old love, beauty and use, the same. We do not blame thee, elder world, nor really separate ourselves from thee. Would the Son separate himself from the Father? Looking back on thee, seeing thee to thy duties, grander though through ages past, bending, building, we build to ours today. Mightier than Egypt's tombs, fairer than Grecia's, Roma's temples, prouder than Milan's statued, spired cathedral, more picturesque than Rhenish castle keeps. We plan even now to raise beyond them all thy great cathedral, sacred industry, no tomb, a keep, for life, for practical invention. As in a waking vision, e'en while I chant, I see it rise. I scan and prophesy outside and in its manifold and ensemble. Around a palace, loftier, fairer, ampler than any yet, earth's modern wonder, history's seven outstripping, high rising tier on tier, with glass and iron facades, gladdening the sun and sky, and hued in cheerfulest hues, bronze, lilac, robin's egg, marine and crimson, over whose golden roof shall flaunt, beneath thy banner freedom, the banners of the states and flags of every land, a brood of lofty, fair, but lesser palaces shall cluster. Somewhere within their walls shall all that forwards perfect human life be started, tried, taught, advanced, visibly exhibited. Not only all the world of works, trade, products, but all the women of the world here to be represented. Here shall you trace in flowing operation, in every state of practical busy movement, the rills of civilization. Materials here under your eye shall change their shape as if by magic. The cotton shall be picked almost in the very field, shall be dried, cleaned, ginned, baled, spun into thread and cloth before you. You shall see hands at work at all the old processes and all the new ones. You shall see the various grains and flour is made, and then bread baked by the bakers. You shall see the crude ores of California and Nevada passing on and on till they become bullion. You shall watch how the printer sets type, learn what a composing stick is. You shall mark in amazement the hoe press whirling its cylinders, shedding the printed leaves steady and fast. The photograph, model, watch, pin, nail shall be created before you. In large, calm halls, a stately museum shall teach you the infinite lessons of minerals. In another, woods, plants, vegetation shall be illustrated in another animal life and development. One stately house shall be the music house. Others, for other arts learning, the sciences shall all be here. None shall be slighted, none, but shall here be honored, helped, exampled. This and these, America, shall be your pyramids and obelisks, your Alexandrian pharaohs, gardens of Babylon, your temple at Olympia. The male and female many laboring not shall ever here confront the laboring many, with precious benefits to both, glory to all. To thee, America, and thee, eternal muse. And here shall ye inhabit powerful matrons, in your vast state, vaster than all the old, echoed through long, long centuries to come, to sound of different, prouder songs, with stronger themes, practical, peaceful life, the people's life, the people themselves, lifted, illumined, bathed in peace, elate, secure in peace. Away with themes of war, away with war itself! Hence from my shuddering sight, to nevermore return that show of black and mutilated corpses, that hell unpent in rain of blood, fit for wild tigers or for lap-tongued wolves, not reasoning men, and in its stead speed industry's campaigns, with thy undaunted armies engineering thy penance labor, loosened to the breeze, thy bugle sounding loud and clear. Away with old romance, away with novels, plots, and plays of foreign courts, away with love verses sugared in rhyme, the intrigues, amours of idlers, fitted with only banquets of the night, where dancers to late music slide, the unhealthy pleasures, extravagant dissipations of the few, with perfumes, heat, and wine beneath the dazzling chandeliers. To you, ye reverent sane sisters, I raise a voice for far superber themes, for poets and for art, to exalt the present and the real, to teach the average man the glory of his daily walk and trade, to sing in songs how exercise and chemical life are never to be baffled, to manual work for each and all, to plow, hoe, dig, to plant and tend the tree, the berry, vegetables, flowers, for every man to see to it that he really do something. For every woman, too, to use the hammer and the saw, rip or crosscut, to cultivate a turn for carpentering, plastering, painting, to work as tailor, tailoress, nurse, hostler, porter, to invent a little something ingenious, to aid the washing, cooking, cleaning, and hold it no disgrace to take a hand at them themselves. I say I bring thee muse today, and here all occupations, duties, broad and close, toil, healthy toil and sweat, endless without cessation, the family, parentage, childhood, husband and wife, the house comforts, the house itself, and all its belongings, food and its preservation, chemistry applied to it, whatever forms the average, strong, complete, sweet-blooded man or woman, the perfect, longevous personality, and helps its present life to health and happiness, and shapes its soul for the eternal, real life to come, with latest connections, works, the intertransportation of the world, steam power. The great express lines, gas, petroleum, these triumphs of our time, the Atlantic's delicate cable, the Pacific Railroad, the Suez Canal, the Mont Cenis, the Gothard and Hoosac tunnels, the Brooklyn Bridge. This earth all spanned with iron rails, with lines of steamships threading in every sea. Our own rondeur, the current globe I bring. And thou, America, thy offspring towering e'er so high, yet higher thee above all towering, with victory on thy left and at thy right hand law. Thou Union, holding all, fusing, absorbing, tolerating all, thee, ever thee I sing. Thou also thou a world, with all thy wide geographies, manifold, different, distant, rounded by thee in one common orbit language, one common, indivisible destiny for all, and by the spells which ye vouchsafe to those your ministers in earnest, I here personify and call my themes, to make them pass before ye. Behold, America, and thou ineffable guest and sister, for thee come trooping up thy waters and thy lands. Behold, thy fields and farms, thy far-off woods and mountains, and as in procession coming. Behold the sea itself, and on its limitless heaving breast the ships. See where their white sails, bellying in the wind, speckle the green and blue. See the steamers coming and going, steaming in or out of port. See, dusky and undulating, the long pennants of smoke. Behold, in Oregon, far in the north and west, or in Maine, far in the north and east, thy cheerful axemen, wielding all day their axes. Behold on the lakes, thy pilots at their wheels, thy oarsmen, how the ash writhes under those muscular arms. There, by the furnace, and there by the anvil, behold thy sturdy blacksmiths swinging their sledges. Overhand so steady, overhand they turn and fall with joyous clank, like a tumult of laughter. Mark the spirit of invention everywhere, thy rapid patents, thy continual workshops, foundries risen or rising. See from their chimneys how the tall flame fires stream. Mark thy interminable farms, north, south, thy wealthy daughter states, eastern and western, the varied products of Ohio, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Georgia, Texas, and the rest, thy limitless crops, grass, wheat, sugar, oil, corn, rice, hemp, hops, the barns all filled with endless freight train, and the bulging storehouse, the grapes that ripen on thy vines, the apples in thy orchards, thy incalculable lumber, beef, pork, potatoes, thy coal, thy gold and silver, the inexhaustible iron in thy mines, all thine, O sacred Union. Ships, farms, shops, barns, factories, mines, city, state, north, south, item, and aggregate, we dedicate, dread mother, all to thee, protectress, absolute thou, bulwark of all. For well we know that while thou givest each and all, generous as God, without thee neither all nor each, nor land, home, nor ship, nor mine, nor any here this day secure, nor aught, nor any day secure. And thou, the emblem waving over all, delicate beauty, a word to thee, it may be salutary. Remember, thou hast not always been, as here today, so comfortably and sovereign. In other scenes than these have I observed thee flag, not quite so trim and whole and freshly blooming in folds of stainless silk, but I have seen thee bunting to tatters, torn upon thy splintered staff, or clutched to some young color-bearer's breast with desperate hands, savagely struggled for life or death, fought over long mid-cannon's thunder crash, and many a curse and groan and yell, and rifled volleys cracking sharp, and moving masses as wild demons surging, and lives as nothing risked, for thy mere remnant, grimed with dirt and smoke and sopped in blood, forsake that, my beauty, and that thou mightst dally as now secure up there. Many a good man have I seen go under. Now here, and these, and hence, in peace, all thine, O flag! And here, and hence for thee, O universal muse, and thou for them, and here, and hence, O union! All the work and workman thine, none separate, from thee henceforth one only, we and thou, for the blood of the children, what is it? Only the blood maternal? And lives and works, what are they all at last, except the roads to faith and death? While we rehearse our measureless wealth, it is for thee, dear mother. We own it all, and several today, indissoluble in thee. Think not our chant, our show, merely for products, grass, or lucre. It is for thee, the soul in thee, electric, spiritual. Our farms, inventions, crops we own in thee, cities and states in thee. Our freedom, all in thee, our very lives in thee. All right, that is the end of tonight's reading. We do have an ad kicking off. When it gets back, we'll have our usual outro and prep for what we're going to be doing next. So, for now, if you can hear me, go ahead and take a breather, take a break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, where we'll finish up for the evening. All right. So, that is as far as we're going to get tonight on our readings. This was, again, really just so incredibly wholesome. Every single time that we read Whitman, I'm impressed. And it takes a lot for me to have any sort of patriotic feeling generally, I'm more of the jaded sort and thinking that people and politics are shit. But Whitman has a way to just highlight the best, the hope, the optimism, the yearning desire for what we could be, the potential. And I guess if anything is going to make you feel patriotic, it should be this. Not the yahoos that are in office or any which way a swing, any direction you might feel. This is the lesson that we should take to heart, and the idea that we should hold up. So it's a feel-good sort of thing. And each of the poems that we've seen, so many of them are sort of placing and framing America as inheriting the legacy of the arts and culture and history of the old world, and carrying that spirit forward, whether it be in the arts or in the persons and character of its people. It's just so cool. Like I said, it takes a lot for me to feel patriotic. Usually I'm more on the other side of things, where it's just man, everything sucks. This is a nice feeling. I'm honestly ashamed of how little I thought of Walt before this. I mentioned when we were just starting out to reading this that I had read this and written a very long and obnoxious and hoity-toity paper about him when I was in high school. And that sort of colored my opinion on Walt Whitman, and poets in general. And as we're reading this, he just doesn't miss. He just doesn't miss. It's crazy, honestly. It's so good. In a wholesome way. It's like if Mr. Rogers was a poet, but flamboyantly gay and just way out there. Boom. There we go. Oh, man. All right. This will be where we finish up for tonight. As always, I'd like to thank you for joining us. If you've been around for a while, or if it's a fresh face, thank you for joining us. As always, we've got... we always double stream, so we have a YouTube channel that is if you're already there, fantastic. A subscription and a like on the stream goes a long way to helping us out. If you are not over there yet, the links are in the YouTube, or in the Twitch About section. Speaking of Twitch, thanks for joining us. This is very quickly becoming our primary source of anything, but we do always stream on both, and I have a lot of fun with both. So, if you haven't yet, a follow is always welcome. That's all I really ask. Subscriptions, meh. Bezos got enough bucks. So, let's go ahead and wrap up here for tonight. We'll see what we have in store for us next time. We have a brand new book starting tomorrow for our unarchived series. Last week we finished The Shining. I've narrowed it down to 2, and I'll leave it until I post the stream titles for you guys to find out which ones we end up landing on. I think it'll be good, though. It'll be timely, and just generally good books. Which is kind of unfair to say, honestly, because we don't find bad books very often. I mean, there was Walden, but aside from that, almost all books are good books. So anyway, we're going to wrap up here tonight, and let's see if there is anyone that we can raid over to that is also reading tonight. Let's see. We've got, I see... Oh, it is Friday, so the The fanfic gang is out. That could be fun. It's always fun. Let's see if any other friends are streaming tonight. Yeah, let's go ahead and join the Fanfic Friday gang. Let's see who we've got. Seely's got 5 on their stream. Slack's got 5. Scrolling through here. Witsy's got 6. Alright, well, we'll split the difference. I don't know if we've been to Slack in a bit. I think we did Seely last time. So, let's jump over to Slack Happy's channel. Be sure to always give him our very best. And until next time, thank you for joining us. Have a great night.